American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I, as a contractor, appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Lead meteorologist John Choquette here for our daily forecast. Sponsored, as always, by You Just Saw 'Em, C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor Show. Saw those commercials. You can check out their pages in the description below, or you can check out their websites, their YouTube pages, whatever it is, in the Linktree link that is down below as well. So we're going to jump right into it. Night hail threat today, so it should be pretty quiet for most of the day, except for I think a couple storms might pop up along the Gulf Coast and along the Georgia coast. But Minnesota and Iowa could see some hail late tonight after about 9 p.m. It looks like we have a trend here of a couple days in a row where the Great Lakes might actually see some hail potential. Hail threats might be in the Chicago area tomorrow and possibly even on Friday as well. We'll break down that, and we're going to check in on those tropics as well. We do have that potential for some development in the Gulf of Mexico. It is June. It's pretty early for tropical development, especially in the Gulf of Mexico, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on what could be the start of a very unusual year for the tropics, but par for the course of 2021, am I right? So we're going to jump into those upcoming events. We actually have one coming up tomorrow here in San Antonio, the 2021 Texas Roofing Conference at the Marriott Resort in San Antonio. Come check us out. Make sure you have some air conditioning. It's going to be real hot from June 16th to June 18th. Come say hi. Make sure you're in air conditioning. We promise the Marriott's in air conditioning. And Burgers and Bikes, that's next week in Moore, Oklahoma on June 25th. Come get some free food. And everyone at Orca and here us at Hail Trace as well. Love to see you, especially if we're working that Norman Storm. And finally, don't forget to sign up for the Thunder Road Race for Recovery. That's on September 15th in Norman, Oklahoma. You can sign up in the link below, whether you want to just come and drive and show that you're better at driving go-karts than everyone else, or if you want to sponsor the event. That's on September 15th, and more details are in there in the link to check that out. So we're going to look at what happened yesterday. Starting off, I said this a little bit earlier to Derek, pretty unusual you see hail in the Boston metro at the same day that you see hail in Houston, but this is what happened. Nonetheless, on your June 14th, we had some hail in New Hampshire, parts of the northern Boston metro in Massachusetts. It looks like, oh, did my battery just die? Hang on. Oh, I don't know. I saw a red light and it scared me. So anyway, we also had some storms across the Carolina coast. Charleston saw some hail. We had hail in Florida as well, and then we even had hail in Houston itself. We did see some quarter-size hail across Houston. Nothing too crazy. No wild hail. I mean, it is June, but nonetheless, typically Houston doesn't see any hail at all in June, so It's really wild that we're seeing hail happening in Houston in mid-June, and it's also near 100 degrees across a lot of Texas at the same time. And we even saw some hail here up in the Pacific Northwest, south of Spokane, parts of Idaho and Montana, and even down to Oregon. We saw some hail there as well. So a surprisingly active day yesterday across kind of random parts of the country. Came out to about 33 hail reports that were 1 inch or larger, 75 wind reports, no tornadoes. That brings us up to 3,182 hail reports for the year so far. And we're actually starting to kind of catch up a little bit, a tiny bit on 2020. There was no hail at all happening this time of year last year. So, slowly gaining some ground, and we may gain that ground in July or over the next couple of days as well. So what we're looking at right now is pretty quiet across the entire continental U.S. A little bit of rain down in Florida. The area that we are watching for storms tonight has absolutely nothing going on. Clear skies across Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. However, that's why storms aren't going to happen until very late this evening. It's going to be a quiet day across most of the country, and a good chunk of the country is very hot. I know we don't have any temperatures showing up here in the desert Southwest, but just a note that is extremely hot there right now. I think it was about 120 in Phoenix yesterday, and that's going to continue. This heat dome is really settling in. I mean, it is 11 a.m. in Denver right now. It's 90 degrees. I think they might have their second day in a row of triple-digit temperatures, which would be the first time ever Denver's done that. So again, the area here in the desert Southwest and parts of the Great Basin look like they're going to be in a very intense hot, dry pattern here for the next few days. It's also hot in Dallas, hot here in Oklahoma City and Kansas City. So temperatures are very warm, no lack of crazy heat anywhere, and the instability is here for the great or east of the Rockies. West of the Rockies, not only is it hot, but it's also very dry. But here in Oklahoma and parts of Texas, all the way up into Minnesota, where you have those dew points, at least 50 degrees, and going up here again across the center of the country. So what we looking at future radar, we got to jump all the way ahead to late this evening. I noticed the future radar stops at 9:30 when storms finally 9 o'clock. It's after dark for a lot of the country, but here in South Dakota there will still be some sunlight out there when these storms happen. And pushing forward into the evening hours, see 2 o'clock in the morning, more storms fire in southern Minnesota and pushing to the south, and then even more activity fires up in Wisconsin by daybreak on your Thursday, which sets the stage for Thursday. But it looks like we could see some hail here. Those isolated storms could have some decent sized hail with them, possibly up to that ping pong ball size for your maximum hail size potential, since it is going to be in the overnight hours. Very possible it'll be Thursday technically when these storms do happen across Minnesota. We're going to check out that hail forecast, really break down what we're expecting here. Again, I have just the yellow on here. I don't think we're really going to see too much in the way of that up to golf ball size hail. I think we'll have some ping pong ball size hail and the biggest storms possible, and those would most likely be focused in sections of Iowa here where the more isolated storms are going to be getting fired off a little bit earlier. From Fargo to Minneapolis to Sioux Falls to Des Moines, a low chance overall for storms for overnight tonight, since they are going to be fairly isolated in nature. So we're going to just break down Minneapolis itself. We have 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., 9 p.m. being the absolute earliest, 2 a.m. It could even be a little later than that. Overall, low chances across the board. That ping pong ball size hail is possible, of course, if anything can get its act together on the earlier end of this timeline. If it's before 11 o'clock, you could see some of that bigger hail. After that, I think chances are, if you see any hail, it's going to be more marginal in size. And with that, we push ahead to tomorrow. Somebody said Sky Diamonds in the Great Lakes area. Yes, it's very possible here. We're checking in on tomorrow. So starting about 10:30 in the morning here, we'll have those storms pushing off into Illinois, which could have some hail with it. But the bigger hail potential is going to be much later in the afternoon, where we could see some storms firing up here after about 5 o'clock in the Lakes region, and quite a bit more activity in the evening hours, especially after about 8, 9 o'clock here in Iowa. Quite a bit of storm activity there. We'll to keep an eye on everything happening here by the Chicago area at 9 p.m. tomorrow, and even the upper peninsula of Michigan could see some storms as well. And to keep pushing forward, you see a lot more activity starting to fire up here. Could be another overnight event, especially in Wisconsin and into Illinois, where at 11 p.m. we have quite a bit of activity, and you could see some decently large size hail with this going well into the overnights. This could actually continue into the next day on Friday, so we could see some late night storms in the Chicago area. So what we have for that hail forecast, I have the much larger hail focus more towards the west, parts of Wisconsin and into Iowa. That's where you could see that hail up to golf ball size. It's very possible this could push further to the east if anything happens earlier. We did show in the future radar that potential for some storms at the dinner hour across sections of the Chicagoland area. That is very possible. It could be stronger than what's been currently modeled, so I have to keep a close eye on that. Low chances right now, but I did break it down for most at-risk cities overall. For your Thursday, I think La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is right on that Minnesota border, has the best chance, a moderate chance of getting some hail on Thursday. Green Bay may have the least chance. You're just a little bit to the north and to the east. And then from Madison to Chicago to Des Moines to Davenport, I think a moderately low chance of seeing at least quarter-size hail for your Thursday, with the potential for that to increase if conditions do shape up just right for your Thursday. So it could be quite a bit of activity to work with here for going into the rest of the week. How does the rest of the week look? Here is that high pressure. So this is at 6 a.m. on Thursday. So tomorrow, really just set in the middle of the region. Hot, dry air dominating the southwestern portion of the United States, keeping that jet stream up to the north and dipping back down into the northeast. And that's why we'll see some severe weather here across the Great Lakes region as that jet stream does dip down for your Friday. So Thursday into Friday, we could see those storms across the Great Lakes region. Notice here the heat dome might try to ease off a little bit for the end of the week. So good news, if you are in Las Vegas or Phoenix, Denver, Salt Lake City, where you guys are getting some near record heat, might cool off just a tiny bit for this weekend as we keep pushing forward on your Friday. Notice things end up pushing even more south into the east, so you can get those storms for your Friday. And then by Saturday and into Sunday, notice the heat kind of pushes off to the west a little bit more, kind of giving parts of Colorado and Utah a bit of a break going into your weekend. And then the heat dome does want to build here as we get to the start of next week, but not before we get another chance at some severe weather here in the Central Plains and parts of the Great Lakes again at the start of next week. Could see some severe weather, especially in an area that has not really seen anything at all this year. We had some baseball-sized hail, surprisingly, on a rogue storm in Michigan over the weekend. We saw a little bit of half-dollar-sized hail in Chicago, I think, on Saturday, and that's all we've seen so far this year. So the fact that the pattern is showing some signs of life for the next few days and into the beginning of next week should give folks in Illinois and Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, that general area, the hope for some more storms as we pull into the third week of June. So that look ahead for Friday, that's pretty much just continuing what we're expecting to see tomorrow evening. We could see storms all the way back to Kansas City, all the way into Toronto. So if you are in Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, north of I-70, back towards Kansas, you could see some storms on your Friday. Well, more updates for that tomorrow as always. And before we go, we will check in on the Gulf, where we may see our next tropical system, Claudette, before the week is over, as we now have a 70% chance in the next 48 hours that we see at least a tropical depression form here in the very southern sections of the Gulf of Mexico, and a 90% chance within the next 5 days. If it does become a tropical storm, it would be Claudette, and it would likely move anywhere between, say, Lake Pontchartrain to over by Corpus Christi. If it does form, I do not think this would be anything crazy. Again, this is June. We are in mid-June. Hurricane season really doesn't get its act together till about later July, when the conditions are much more ripe. But we could see a tropical storm that would definitely bring a ton of rain to an area that doesn't really need it too much here in Louisiana. You guys are well versed in the world of hurricanes after last year, so we'll be keeping an eye on this for you guys. Likely going to see tropical depression number 3 here in the next couple of days, and possibly Tropical Storm Claudette by this weekend. If you got any other comments, questions, or concerns, you can always give us a call or check out our email. Follow us on all our social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, all that great stuff. It's pretty easy to find us at Hail Trace. Some of them are linked below as well. If you're watching us on any platform, you can check on that link, and you can check out our LinkedIn and our TikTok and all that stuff. And you can give us a call, 855-334-4245, and comments, questions, or concerns you may have. Or if you just want to chat with us, we're happy to talk to you, and you can always email us if you don't like talking on the phone at info@hailtrace.com, or visit our website or the link below for more details. We'll see you guys again tomorrow at 12 p.m. like we do every single weekday. Have a good Wednesday.